Welcome to Girl Choose Yourself, where we're trading self-doubt for self-trust and settling for soaring. I'm Emer Zone, your host, and together we're building the confidence to create lives so deliciously bold that they scare us a little, but in the best possible way. Because life's too precious to stay cozy in our comfort zones. It's time to choose ourselves for lives that are fabulous and soulfully fulfilling. So let's go. Hey, and welcome back to the podcast. This week, I'm talking about clarity. And I think that most people don't truly have a confidence problem. They have a clarity problem. Many of us have spent decades working hard, keeping the show on the road. But if I stop you right now and ask you this simple question, I wonder how clear you would be about the answer. Here's your question. What do you actually want? And it's not what you think your kids need. It's not what you think other people expect, your boss, your partner, your parents even. It's not what looks sensible or good on paper. I think you might struggle to answer that question. I think you might pause. I think you might grasp for an acceptable answer. But I wonder how many of us would be able to clearly answer, this is what I want. This is what matters most. This is what I really want to create and experience in my life. And in that pause, I think that's where life almost like it slips through our fingers, because clarity is so essential. It's so important. It's foundational. And without it, we're not really, truly, fully owning our lives. We're not in the driving seat. We're being driven, and the destination is not of our own choosing necessarily. And it's definitely not the destination of our dreams. It's not going to take us to a place that is the full unfoldment of the magnificence of who we truly are. And when you're not on that path, you're on a path to regret, one of the deathbed regrets. And that's not for you. It's not for me. That's not where we're going. So let's get into it. I think if you think about your dreams, first of all, as a seed, you plant it, it's in a nourishing environment where it naturally should grow. You cover it with soil, you water it, there's sunlight. But then because you're impatient or unsure or you doubt, you what if, you dig it up every few days to check that it's growing, that it's working, that it's taking root, that it's going to blossom. And that seed doesn't stand a chance. And it is the same. We do the same thing with dreams. We do the exact same thing with our dreams. We keep second guessing, changing direction, not trusting ourselves. Maybe it'll work. Oh, I don't think it'll work. Maybe it won't. We're undermining it all the time. It's like that we're digging up that seed. And when we're doing that, we just destroy the conditions for growth. We negate it. Clarity is planting the seed once and really trusting and knowing and having a soul level, deep self-trust that it will naturally blossom, that it can do no other thing. We're gentle in our attention. We're steady. We're not frantic. It's just this deep knowing that comes with that clarity. I want to talk about thoughts and the work of a woman called Genevieve Behrend. And this is a book that I've read several times and have been taking out with me on walks recently. And it's called The Invisible Power, and it's all about visualization. It's a wonderful book, a quick read or listen. I highly recommend it. And Genevieve talks about our thoughts as forming the molds for our dreams. And, our attention builds that mold. And it can't be vague. What we want can't be vague, or the mold isn't, what kind of a mold can you make if you don't know what you want to create? So if you're distracted, also, if you're reactive to everything that's going on outside you, if you have not cultivated that command of your inner world so that you can own your attention and your focus, you'll be reactive. You'll be chasing that next shiny object. And when you're doing that, it's like you smash the mold of your dreams. You cannot create the life that you're dreaming of and that you're definitely capable of unless you have that clarity of intention and that ability to manage your attention. Thomas Troward was also writing and speaking about 100 years ago, and one of his works is called The Edinburgh Lectures. Again, something I've been taking out on my walks in the last few weeks. And he's really blunt on this point. He says, spirit works through a definite idea. No clarity, no creation. This is so often where we fall down. So often where we fall down. It's not that we're not trying or working hard enough, but it is this deep clarity that we are lacking. And modern neuroscience agrees on this. The brain needs intention and direction, or it defaults to fear, doubt, autopilot, old patterns, the ones that haven't ever gotten us what we truly want and what we're capable of. The Confidence Key program is built on this, clarity, so foundational. So ask yourself this question right now. What mold are my thoughts shaping right now? Because we are always creating. We just want to ensure that we are creating what we truly desire, that life of our dreams. One thing that makes me sad, and I know it's very true, and so I'll name it, women, I wasn't anyway, and I feel this is true. Women aren't raised to dream big. I remember, and I mentioned this song in the book, Choose Yourself. A contestant on America's Got Talent, I think it was Lily Mayola. She sang a song that she had written herself, which was Don't Quit Your Daydream. And it was really, really poignant about how, as young children, we're all encouraged to dream big and be an astronaut or whatever. If you can dream it, you can be it, is the messaging in the playgrounds of kindergarten. And then it changes to be realistic. And Mayola, in her song, is sort of encouraging in a beautiful, heartfelt way, you not to quit your daydream for something more realistic. Don't give up on yourself. Don't sell yourself short. And she gave such a beautiful, beautiful performance that you could see people who were shedding a tear in the audience as the cameras panned the audience. And even in the face of the judges, you could see that it was touching a chord for these very successful people in the entertainment business, that this was not something that was unfamiliar to them, being told to be realistic, and how painful that is. And that's the story for so many of us, from girlhood, as we get out of that kindergarten area and that we get into those older years. It's like, don't be too much, fit in. Don't be selfish. Don't be too loud. Be sensible. Always have a backup plan. Yes, that's nice, dear, but nobody ever makes a living with art. How about accountancy? It's every artist's nightmare, accountancy. Do something reasonable, acceptable. But reasonable dreams, they don't set your soul on fire. Let's talk about so what do you want to be, trap? Remember that awful question? Jesus, what do you want to be when you grow up? I mean, Jesus, you can't survive the first couple of years with school without some adults, that being their first introductory question to you. Like, what's your life plan? And as we get older, I've been for a while a parent of 3 children, but I know firsthand from raising my own kids here in the US, the college application process is brutal, absolutely brutal, and I'm sure in other countries too. Parents are practically auditioning for bragging rights. Which Ivy League school? Which scholarships did they secure? How many after-school extracurricular activities have they developed the cure for cancer yet? I mean, come on. That will get you into the best school. It's just exhausting. And I often wondered too, how many of today's doctors actually wanted to be doctors? In Ireland, there's this joke years ago, 60s, say 1960s, when a young man would become a priest, people would say it was the mother who had the vocation. It was a thing to have a nun or a priest in the family. It was prestigious, the way it is to have a doctor today. Or a lawyer, whatever. And it's that same story. Professions that make parents proud aren't always the futures that let children flourish. Here's an interesting statistics. Asian Americans are only 7% of the US population, but they make up nearly 20% of the doctors and medical students. That tells you something. Family values, cultural expectations weigh heavily. Not every doctor is living their dream. Some are living someone else's dream, their parents. And so many people, you don't have to be a doctor, end up as adults in midlife or before 30s. You can wake up at any point, brilliant, hardworking people who feel untethered, successful on paper, hollow inside, and living on a path that's not entirely of their own choosing. And that makes you feel, untethered and not very confident. You just don't trust yourself. I mean, how could I have got this far and not really want it? How could I have done that? If you ask yourself that question, you start saying, what sort of a bloody idiot am I that I could have invested that many years at college or in that career or doing that thing? In America, people can have paid a fortune to go to college here. The system is crazy, and they're carrying student debt for a profession that they're not particularly interested in or really enthusiastic about. That can weigh really heavily. And this is where it gets sticky, admitting that you don't know what you want. That can feel shameful, or that you made a mistake, or that you were so influenced by the advice of a parent or an influential other that you set on a path that just doesn't feel right. But it's almost like sunk cost fallacy. I've invested so much in it now, I just have to keep going, even at the risk of my own mental, emotional health and my happiness. Instead of oh, okay. So I did that, and that feels like shit now, and I don't want to keep doing this, and I'm going to have to think of making a change. And then if you do decide that, if you're brave and you decide to do that, the next thing is somebody will asking, so what's next for you? Oh, you left your job or you want to do something different? Oh, and you don't have an answer. And that silence can be excruciating because you feel maybe compelled to give an acceptable, palatable answer. We're supposed to have it all figured out. You're a grown-up now. It's not like you're in college and you're kind of maybe changing major. So what do? We stick with what we've got often, or we double down on the job that drains us. That plan B life maybe. because at least it looks good on paper, or it's respectable, or it won't draw attention, the kind of attention that changing things, changing direction often brings. I just believe there's no shame in not knowing. We do not owe other people an explanation. As adult women, we do not owe other people an explanation for our decisions to make a change in our lives, because we want to find our way to something that feels much more fulfilling, because we have such a great appreciation and respect for the preciousness of life that we are not prepared to just get through the weeks, the days, the years, this life. We're not prepared to live like that. The shame belongs to the conditioning that tells us that we should always know, or that we should just not upset the apple cart, or we should not make a change, or that's where the shame belongs. Saying I don't know, or I don't know yet, is a first step really towards something real. And it takes courage, and it takes bravery, and it takes self-trust. And remember, you don't owe anyone the answer to the, oh, what are you going to do now question. Well, you left your job, or you're making this big change. This is where boundaries come in, and being able to keep your business to yourself. Often we're asked a question, and particularly as women, we can feel compelled to give an answer. And it feels very foreign to say, I'm making some changes and I'm not ready to share any detail about that just now, but thank you for your interest. What's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. Even if the receiver of that chooses to take offense because they are holding an expectation that you should tell them your private business. Here's another thing to think about. Society doesn't exactly cheer for midlife women starting over. We're supposed to sort of fade politely back into the background of society, right? These older women, they're like 40 plus. They need to stay on the fringes. They're not valuable anymore. You're losing your youth. That's what made you valuable. You're not attractive enough. You're not whatever enough. We're told that our value is declining with every birthday past 40. If you dare to start something new and bold at age 45, 55, 65, people will talk and have a fecking opinion. Let them have it. God, what's she doing at her age? God, that's brave, in inverted commas, which is laden with judgment. Screw 'em. Read the book, The Courage to be Disliked. If you have not read that book already, please read it. It's by a gentleman called Adler, and he really nailed it. Like being free, who doesn't want to be free? That's what we are supposed to be as human beings in this world, in this life. Being free means being willing to disappoint people. It's easier to keep performing the version of yourself that others are comfortable with. That's much easier. It's easier to be who they expect, but that is not being who you are or being true to yourself. And you deserve that. You're not here to be a side character in your own life or to perform for somebody else's comfort. We're grown-ass women now. None of that BS anymore. Just no. There's just this enormous cost when you're in performance mode. That performance drains the energy that you need to find your clarity and to bring into expression the totality of the magnificence of who you are and what you are here to do and to be and to experience. Nobody else should be taking that energy from you. Don't give that away. Don't sell that cheap. So yes, maybe some people will think it looks undignified to become that wild woman who dares to own her life at 45, 35, 55, 65. Well, how delicious is that? Imagine the freedom of saying, this is who I am now. This is what I want. And I'm not here to make up the numbers or to make other people feel comfortable. Some voices. Here's what Carl Jung said. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Make it conscious. Marcus Aurelius, 2,000 years ago, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say, think. Life is short and precious. Own it. Own it. Mary Oliver, in that beautiful poem, A Summer's Day. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Do not waste it. Anais Nin. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. 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 Every one of these voices is pointing to the same truth. Clarity is not indulgent, it's urgent, it's incredibly, incredibly important. Because you are incredibly, incredibly important. So here's a little practice. I want you to grab your notebook today at some point, or even right now, if it's a good time for you, and write at the top, if I knew no one would judge me, what would I truly want deep in my heart and soul? What is that? And then give yourself the space and time just to listen in for the answer, because it is there. It is there. You have it already. You just need to listen in. And write down one clear, specific desire when it comes through, and not the practical edit, okay? This is for an audience of one. You. Just you. Phenomenally brilliant, fantastic, gorgeous, beautiful, amazing you. The answer is for you. And then hold it steady. Don't dig up the seed. Don't smash the mold. Give it the sunlight of your soft, enduring attention, your deep self-trust, your unwavering belief that you are a magnificent creator. This is how clarity grows into power. Midlife is not too late. It is the perfect time. Perfect time, ladies. Because now you know the cost of waiting. We've all paid it. We've paid it. The cost of vagueness. The cost of living to somebody else's plan, the one that looked good on paper. So plant your seed. Guard your mold. Claim your dream. And remember this. Clarity is the first really radical act of choosing yourself. Okay, awesome beings. I'll see you next time. Have a great week. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning into the episode this week. I hope you got a lot out of it, and if you did, please share it with somebody who you feel would benefit. And leave a review. Always greatly appreciated. Lots of free and paid resources to take things a step further. You can find those in the show notes. And hey, if nobody's told you this yet today, you are amazing, and the world is a far more beautiful place because you're here with us all. Stay cool. Bye.